So Brendan O'Shea,
Yeah,
world famous photographer,
sort of, I suppose, yeah.
English teacher by day.
Uh-huh.
So we met at MojoCon.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us a little bit more about what you were doing at MojoCon?
In October 2014, Glenn Mulcahy, who organised MojoCon, contacted me seeing would I be able to get a panel together of people who are involved in the mobile photography world for the mobile photography segment of MojoCon. And over the period between October and when the conference in March, I put together, I think it was 5 of the 7 who were on the panel for mobile photography. People like Dan Berman, who organises the Mobile Photography Awards, the international competition. Michael Kistler, who's a photographer out of Hong Kong. Nikki Fitzgerald, who is an online tutorial website, iPhoneography Central. Andy Butler, who runs the biggest electronic magazine for mobile photography, MojoCon, and myself. And then Dan had arranged for Dan Rubin and Jack Hollingsworth, who would be 2 big names in photography, and Dan Rubin in design as well in the world, together for the conference. And at the end of March, we all met up at MojoCon.
I hadn't realised how big mobile photography was.
Yeah, it's like, I suppose, mobile photography, started really with when the iPhone 4 came out. I think that this would have coincided with the launch of Instagram, and I think that the technology had improved in the iPhones and in other smartphones as well. But I think that when Instagram came along, people were able to, within the one device of, to take a photo, edit it and share it all, instantaneously. And I think that this led to, an explosion in interest in photography, particularly mobile photography in the world. And I think that communities began to spring up around the world and online for mobile photography. For myself, I became very interested in it. It would have been 2011, I think, when I got the iPhone 4. Also signed up with the Instagram, and I was using my Instagram feed to feed a separate Flickr account that I set up there. On Flickr, then I became very much involved with the online communities and groups that were set up on Flickr for iPhone photography in particular. And as I was developing, then I looking back, when I was preparing for MojoCon, when I had to kind of talk about my iPhone photography journey. Looking back, I realised that the development and improvement and skills as a photographer really stem from using the iPhone, because I went from a position of where I had a Nikon DSLR sitting in a drawer at home, and that I would only take it out on occasion to go on a photo walk, or if I was going on holidays I'd bring it with me, to a situation where I had a camera always with me. And having the iPhone with me at all times, it resulted in me being much more aware and sensitive to photographic opportunities. It developed my eye, that I became much more able to compose photographs and much more alert to the opportunities for it. And I was shooting on a day-to-day basis. I was becoming more heavily involved in the online communities in Flickr and that, and I was consuming far more photography, and that my photographic abilities were accelerated definitely from using the iPhone.
So very much plays into the 10,000 hour rule. So as a result of having a phone in your pocket, suddenly you're practicing all the time.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, definitely. That I think that I would not be the photographer I am today, or would not have the interest in photography that I have today, only for the iPhone. Yeah.
On the note of the iPhone photography, can you tell us a little bit more about the experience you had with the Apple Shot on iPhone campaign?
Yeah, well, I suppose it all began in October of last year, 2014, that I was on a university exchange to University of Copenhagen from my own university here in Cork. While I was there, I had the good fortune to meet up with a fellow photographer of mine, a friend of mine, Thomas Toft, who had taken a photograph of this well-known park in Copenhagen, Superkillen Park, that has these spectacular black and white curvy twisty lines.
It's quite an extraordinary place.
It's like for a photographer, it's a dream to get to a location like that. So I was there with him for maybe about half an hour, 3/4 an hour. Got a good few photographs from there, both with the iPhone and the DSLR. Came back home to Ireland, posted one of them on my Flickr account. Got a great response there, from my Flickr contacts and that. Photograph was lying in the stream. about 2 months later, I got a email from an anonymous Flickr user asking me was I interested in a research project, and I just ignored it because I checked their account. There was no photographs in their account. A week later, another email, again, stressing the urgency that I respond to them. So I responded, and the communication went to email, and in the email they told me that until I signed a non-disclosure agreement, they wouldn't reveal anything about the project. They sent me the non-disclosure agreement, and I saw the name Apple on it, and naturally my excitement grew. And this was about December of last year, and between December and the end of February 2015 this year, there were a lot of emails back and forth. They chose 2 photographs of mine, another one from Berlin and the Copenhagen image, but in the end they ran with the Copenhagen image. In the end of February, I got an email congratulating me that I was part of the Apple World Gallery, and that as part of this, my photograph would be on display in 70 cities in 24 countries worldwide, on posters and billboards, and also in print, electronic, and print magazines as well. I didn't believe it till the following Monday, when I got an email from one of my friends in Flickr that he had seen the photograph on a big billboard in Alexanderplatz station in Berlin, sent it to me, and I saw there's the photograph on a 40-foot high billboard. It was just incredible experience. And then within the same day, that evening, I got again other friends on Flickr sent me photographs of billboards in Hollywood, on Sunset Boulevard, again huge big billboard with the photograph. And within the space of a short few days, that I had seen it in Tokyo, in Milan, and I woke up yesterday morning and had a message on Facebook from one of my friends on Facebook that she's in the States, Janine Graff. And she told me that the photograph is on the back of the current edition of the New Yorker magazine.
Right.
So that's really cool.
That's amazing.
That's very popular, prestigious magazine. So to be
absolutely,
there
that's incredible achievement.
Yeah, it's very good. Very pleased with it. Yeah.
It's quite extraordinary.
It's beyond my wildest dreams. That from I was just taking a photograph for myself initially, and I would share it with the the kind of Flickr community that I'm on, but in beyond my wildest dreams that it could ever end up with global exposure like that.
It's quite incredible.
It's been an amazing experience.
What kind of advice would you have to aspiring photographers?
From my own experience, what I feel has helped me quite a lot in terms of developing as a photographer is looking at photographs of other people and trying to assimilate them, and trying to to see how they feed into your own interests. And I think that for aspiring photographers, I think to shoot things that you're interested in. So if you're interested in nature, go out landscape, flowers, trees, and that. If you're interested in people, try to get out and take photographs of people on the streets, or take photographs of friends or that. But get involved in communities. I think that photography with the technology has really changed. And before, when it was photography would have been kind of a lonely endeavor, and that the photographer would have been alone in terms of creating the photographs, later in a dark room, probably working alone, or giving film to a shop or a store to get the films developed. Whereas now that it's very, very inclusive, and that it's, the community aspect in photography is integral, I think, to its popularity at the moment. So I think for somebody who wants to get into photography, join online communities, particularly Flickr. I think Flickr is much better than Instagram, because I think Instagram is more of a conveyor belt, and that people don't spend that much time, and there isn't the possibility to to interact or to engage with other Instagrammers, if you want. I think Flickr lends itself to more of a kind of community aspect, and there are more forums and discussions and groups that can help people along.
We should emphasise as well that we're here in Cork. The picture was shot in Copenhagen, and now it's on billboards in numerous other locations. So the technology really helps to become part of a community as well, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like that, like part of it is like the ability to give and to receive feedback on, on your images, and that and the sharing aspect of it, and that there's kind of a healthy community of photographers on Flickr, and I think that it's always quite positive. There isn't any nastiness or competitiveness that could occur. And like in my own experience being sharing photographs and that for the past maybe 5 or 6 years, that Flickr has helped me enormously, absolutely enormously. You know, because like I view an awful photographs, I share photographs there on a regular basis. I curate different groups and that, and I think it's a great environment. So the technology is there. You know, with the phone nowadays, you've got everything. You've got a whole dark room in the iPhone.
It's quite phenomenal. I think that's a really exciting piece. Anyone can do it. Not everybody can do it. Perhaps everyone can aspire to do it.
But I think with the technology, that people can make progression much more on a much more rapid basis than they could have before working with an analog camera. I think because the delay in getting the shot, getting it developed, and that whereas now you can actually take a shot, review it, discard it if you want, or try to improve it, or later to edit and share it.
So before we sign off, anything else exciting on the roadmap that you'd like to share with us if all of that wasn't exciting enough?
Yeah. Well, I suppose the first thing which is coming up is that in the next few days I should go live with my website. Prior to this, I've been just sharing my photographs on Flickr, but in
BrendanO'Shea.com.
Yeah, that I commissioned a guy to do the website for me, and it's looking good. So hopefully that'll be live in the next few days. Other things that I'd like to get involved in is that one of the things that we did at MojoCon was this photo walk on the Saturday morning, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and this is something I'd like to maybe try to do again, and maybe also thinking about that I come from an educational background and trying to combine education and photography. Maybe that I'll get into doing mobile photography workshops for people who want to.
So there'll be opportunities for anybody who'd like to get involved in mobile photography to learn more from your experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. One other thing that I'm involved in is that with myself and Claire Byrne, that we're beginning to explore the opportunities to set up the first mobile photography exhibition in Ireland. Wow. And that I've been contacting friends of mine in the mobile photography community worldwide who would be well established names, and that they've expressed interest in being part of this exhibition. And also we're considering running a competition primarily for people based in Ireland, and that the prize would be exhibition space that they could also exhibit their photographs in that. And we're hoping to get this up and running sometime this year, later this year perhaps.
Super. And will that be advertised on the website?
Yeah, we'll be advertising the website, and that we'll also be probably setting up a separate website just for that. And so we're hoping that this will, there should be a lot of interest in it. I think because I think the interest that is there in photography is great at the moment, and particularly in mobile photography. This is where we're going.
You're very active on Twitter as well, so people can find you as well. It's at
photo punctuation, so FOTOPUNCTUATION.
Super. So check it out.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Super. Thank you very much, Brendan.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Likewise. Thanks.